Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. As I get older, I think about a lot of the people that I have lost along the way. That job as a tour guide was a big mistake. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the top 10 games in my collection that I haven't reviewed. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to go ahead and talk to you about 10 games that I absolutely love that are in my collection that for one reason or another I have not done a video review. Some of them I did do written reviews, years ago when I was writing for a paper, but these are games that I love that I just have not that I have not actually gotten full video reviews up for. I don't know if I ever will. I hope to get reviews here for some of them. So let's go ahead and first of all, I've got some honorable mentions. First of all, I've got War Party from Lock and Load Publishing. This was a great kind of fantasy war game, played up to 4 players, and you are kind of building houses and building bases, and you have all sorts of different kinds of fantasy units and monsters and stuff that you're employing here. They're all little counters that you use, but it was really an immense, kind of an intense game. It's actually a game I haven't played for a while. I actually gave this game away when I went to Texas, and then a friend of mine recently asked me if I wanted it back, and he was going to donate a bunch of games. And I said, "Oh, I'll take that one back." So I've got it in my collection. I got to play it again. But War Party is great fun. Then also too another one that was kind of a big game, made a huge splash when it first came out, and this is Lords of Waterdeep. Of course, a great worker placement game, fantasy based on Dungeons and Dragons. Now I own the base game, and which I played and I really enjoyed, and I own the expansion. I've never played the expansion. I need to play this again with the expansion. Maybe then I can do a review for it. But let's go ahead and jump into my list here. Number 10. This is another game that same friend I'd given it to him years ago, and then he gave it back to me. So I haven't played this one in a while, but it is really good. I'm so glad I got it back because I regretted immediately giving it away. And it's a game I got to get to the table again just because I want to play it. It's light, but it's fun. This is Battleship Galaxies. This was from, I believe, Hasbro, and essentially it's a riff on traditional Battleship. You've got spaceships that are attacking each other in space. You're trying to find a specific location on their ship. It's like a kill switch. It'll just a critical hit. It'll just blow it up. But as you're taking damage, you've got kind of pegs for shields and then pegs for damage that you place along the base of the ships. Really good looking models. I think it came with a comic book that kind of tells the story of it there. Really a fun game. I played this a lot back in the day. Really liked it. And again, I need to get it to the table again. So that is number 10, Battleship Galaxies. That is from Hasbro. My number 9 is a game that I think, if memory serves, I think they did a Game Master edition of this with Milton Bradley initially, but this version was reprinted by Eagle Games. I believe it's a Glenn Drover design. This is Conquest of Empire. Now, this is a great game where you're different Roman emperors. You're fighting here in different territories of the empire, trying to conquer it. It's got a great battle system where you've got your units, but your units themselves are great minis. It's got a real Axis and Allies feel to it. It's a pretty simple game to learn and to play, but it's got that real epic feel to it. I love games that have the dudes on a map feel, especially in the Roman Empire. Very, very cool. So that is Conquest of the Empire, number 9. That is from Eagle-Gryphon Games. My number 8 is well, you're probably familiar with a board game called Clue or Cluedo to our British friends. Clue, when I was a kid, I always liked Clue. I always thought it was fun. As I got older, my gaming tastes evolved. I had less of a desire to play Clue. But then I played this game about, 2012 or so. And yeah, I'll never go back to Clue. This is Mystery of the Abbey. And Mystery of the Abbey, this was Days of Wonder. I think they might be doing a reprint. Another company might be doing a reprint of this game. But it is great. It's loosely based on the film and the novel "In the Name of the Rose," and you're in an abbey, you're in a monastery. So I think the 14th century or so, and somebody's committed a murder, and you've got to narrow down the suspects. But you've got all these different kinds of monks. Some of them are of different orders. Some of them are bearded. Some of them are clean shaven. Some of them are fat. Some of them are thin. Some of them are hooded. There's all these different things, and you're trying to narrow down. And essentially, when you go to someone else, you can ask them questions. Okay, do you have a monk that has this particular trait? And you can ask these sorts of questions, and everybody can hear, so everybody can kind of get an idea of what they can narrow down who the potential suspects are. Really a fun game, really a smart game. Again, it's one I've not played in a long time, but really super fun. That is number 8. That is Mystery of the Abbey, and that is from Days of Wonder. My number 7 is, I think this might be a Glenn Drover design too. It's also from Eagle-gryphon. But this is the American Civil War. Now, this was a game it's a war game. Again, it kind of feels somewhat Axis and Allies-y. But this was a game I played early 2000s. And I remember there was a period where I was working at the theater. I was actually working in the box office of this theater I performed at. And during the day, literally, my job was to answer phones. And if people came in to buy tickets, I'd take care of them. And I had to stay there. So I would bring a book and I would read. But eventually, my buddy Sean, on Mondays, he got off work early or something like that. And he would stop by the theater and we'd just chat. So we started bringing games. And we played the American Civil War a ton. And this is a great, it was Monday Fun Day is what we called it. And then it shifted, so it was Friday. So then we had Friday Guy Day. Anyway, but we played this game, and you can play a 4-player, and it's good. It's better as a 2-player. But essentially, one of you is, of course, the Union, one of you is the Confederates. You're using rail travel. But what I love about this game is you have all your units on the board, but then when you would get into an actual battle, you would transfer your units to a battle board, and you would play on the battle board, and you've got, of course, your center, your right, your left flank. And as soon as one side completely eliminated all the units in an opposing flank, that was the end of the battle, and the side that was able to eliminate those units won the battle. Really, really a fun system. So you have both the strategic board and these tactical boards. And it's just great. Really enjoyed that game quite a bit. I remember this game was at a local game store, and they were going out of business, and they were trying to sell stuff. And I went in there one day and I saw it, and it was like I want to say like $60-$70 game, and I was like, I can't afford that. And it was like every week I'd go in and it would drop by like $10 and stuff. I'm like, it was like $30. I'm like, should I get it? No, I just can't afford it. Finally, I went in there one day and they were about ready to close, and it was $17. They're just trying to clear out inventory. So yeah, I'll pay $17 for it. So I got it, took it home, and I loved it. Played it many times with many friends. Great game. Haven't played it in a while. Another one I need to get to the table. But that is number 7, the American Civil War. That is from Eagle-gryphon Games. Number 6 is a game, and I can't remember if I wrote a review on this back in the day or not, but I gave the game away when I moved to Texas, and I was one I instantly regretted because it was such a smart and intelligent game, and I actually purchased it again. I found a good deal on it. I bought it again about a year ago. I still haven't gotten to the table again, but I need to. This is one of the to me, dungeon crawlers feel very samey. And this was one that felt genuinely different and innovative, and I really like it a lot. This is Level 7 Omega Protocol from Privateer Press. And this game is so cool because it's an all-on-one game. One player is the aliens, and then the other players are kind of the, space marines or whatever you want to call them. And what's cool is they start the game pretty souped up. They don't have to go and search and find more powerful weapons. They start the game with some pretty powerful weapons. Now, here's the thing. On their turn, they can take pretty much as many actions as they want. But every time a player takes an action, they have to give an adrenaline token to the evil guy. So the evil guy, the alien, on his turn, he can take as many actions as he has adrenaline tokens. So there's this great balance that the good guys, right, the Marines, whatever, they have to really weigh how much do I want to get done versus how much do I not want the enemy to have these abilities. It is a fantastic game. It's a great balancing act. Really one of the better dungeon crawlers, in my opinion, and scenario dungeon crawlers. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. So this is number 6, Level 7 Omega Protocol from Privateer Press. Number 5 is a great game. It is a great game that is many consider it to be the ultimate gateway game. It's a game that I just played about a week ago for the first time in a long time, and I forgot how much I truly enjoy this game. How I played a 5-player game, very competitive. Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride from Days of Wonder is a great game. I love Ticket to Ride. I own the 10th anniversary original edition. I own the, is it the 15th anniversary Europe edition, and then I think I own the Germany set. I have owned other sets over time. I've given some of them away, but I really like it. And we were playing the 10th anniversary of the original version the other night, and oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Really like that game. But you're building train lines around the country. You are scoring points based on how many you build, but then also you have these secret objective cards. If you can complete these lines by the end of the game, you get so many points. But if you don't complete them, they act as negative victory points. Such an intelligent and fun design, and easy to learn and easy to play. I really enjoy Ticket to Ride. I think even it's 20 years old now. I think this year it's 20 years old, I think. And it's still fantastic. Love Ticket to Ride. That is from Days of Wonder, and that is my number 5. My number 4, also Days of Wonder. This is Shadows over Camelot. Shadows over Camelot is a great game. I think it may have been the very first Hidden Traitor game. I'm not sure about that, but I think it might be. But Shadows over Camelot is this great game where you are the Knights of the Round Table, and you are trying to complete all these little mini games around the board. And you've got to do different things in order to complete them. But the problem is, for every time you take actions, you also have to take on your turn an evil action, a negative action, meaning you either have to take a hit, because you've got die, but the die you don't roll, they represent your health. You have to take like a hit on your health, or you have to draw an evil card that has some evil thing on the board, or you have to lay a siege engine in front of Camelot. And if there's like 12 siege engines in front of Camelot, you lose. And so that's really cool. But then, of course, like as I say, there's a hidden traitor, or there may be a hidden traitor. All right, I think there's potentially 7 players. There's 8 cards, and so it's possible. When I have played games where there was no hidden traitor, but you're still suspecting people, and it's terribly fun. I love social deduction games, particularly social deduction board games, meaning not just the card games. Like I love Secret Hitler, The Resistance, they're fun, but I like social deduction in a game like Shadows over Camelot or Battlestar Galactica or Unfathomable. I really like it where there's a lot more at stake. But Shadows over Camelot is tremendous fun. I own the expansion, which I have not played with it yet, but I really like the game. That is number 4, Shadows over Camelot from Days of Wonder. My number 3 is a game I probably picked up. I want to say I probably bought it about 2012, 2013. And it's a game that, like, for 6 months, I think Sean and I played a lot. And he and I played it with some other people too. But again, it's another one I haven't played in a long time. I got to get it back to the table. It's got dry erase markers, which is always fun in games. But this is Leviathans from Catalyst Game Labs. Now, the thing with Leviathans essentially is a naval game, but not at sea. These are kind of heavier than air steampunk dirigibles, battleship dirigibles. And they're flying around, and you're trying to cross the T, and you're trying to fire on your enemy as much as you can. You've got some great dice combat. You've got, like I say, you're taking your hits with a dry erase system there. Different colored die depending on what you're shooting and how you're shooting. You got to check your firing arcs. It's a great naval game with this cool steampunk theme. Models here are beautiful. I know just about a few months back they actually did a Kickstarter for a new edition of it. I don't even know if it's a new edition. It's more like a reprint, right? I don't think they changed anything. If they changed something, I would have looked at it, but I think they said it's essentially the same game. But it is so cool, and if you can get a copy of it, you should. I was actually kind of bummed out because they said initially they were going to come out with, like, there's this whole world they were going to do in it. And they came out with the base game, and then they also came out with like because the base game is British and French, and they came out with like a German and an Italian faction. I never picked those up. I always wanted to, but I never did. But they kept talking about how they're going to build all these other factions, like an American faction, and a Russian faction. And I was kind of bummed those things never came to fruition because it is a stellar game. It's a lot of fun. So that is Leviathans. That is my number 3, and that is from Catalyst Game Labs. My number 2, stop me if you've heard this, Days of Wonder. Days of Wonder has produced some just fantastic games over the years. And this is Memoir 44. Now, I did do a written review for this years ago, but I have not done a video review of this game. And I got to tell you, I really have always loved Memoir. I love the commands and color systems. In fact, I think of all the Commands and Colors games I played, Napoleonics is probably my favorite. But I love the World War II theme with Memoir 44. It's always been a great two-player game. But the reason why it's on this list and the reason why it's so high, in fact, I debated whether it should be number one or not, is because just about a week or so ago, with my World War II class, we actually played the 8-player Overlord game. And it was cool because I was one of the commanders. And I'd never played a game of Memoir 44 with the Overlord thing. I actually bought a second core set and then the expansion, and it was fantastic. We had so much fun. It was razor thin about who was going to win. I was the American commander. Ray played it. He was a German commander, and then we had my students with it as the field commanders, and it was great. It was so much fun. It was a nail biter, and it's just such a smart game. The base game, a simple game, but smart in the way the cards work and the choices you have. And then to see the Overlord one, where the commander has real tough choices, because sometimes you just don't have the cards to support the field commanders you want. And you can kind of look at that thematically as logistic problems and what have you. But I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Memoir 44 is amazing, and I highly recommend, if you get a chance, play the Overlord scenario. I would do that again in a heartbeat. I'm going to have to get more of my students, see if they want to try that, if they're on board with that. But that is Memoir 44. That is my number 2. That is from Days of Wonder. Okay, my number 1. This is a game that I've talked about a lot. It has been on a lot of my top 10 lists over the years. And it's a game that I keep thinking I absolutely need to do a review at some point. But this is Conquest of Nerath. Conquest of Nerath is a Dungeons and Dragons war game. Essentially, it is Axis and Allies fantasy. It really plays out like it's a Dungeons and Dragons, or pardon me, like an Axis and Allies games. Instead of bombers, you've got dragons, right? Instead of tanks, you've got like mages and stuff. And it's really, really fun. You can also, one way it departs from Axis and Allies is there are like caverns and stuff that you can go in and send heroes in and loot and take special abilities and stuff and what have you. Really fun. So there's some fun discovery there and exploration there, but then it's just great. And really the way to play it is you've got kind of 4 sides of the board, 4 corners of the board, and so there's 4 factions. And the best way to play the game is a 4-player game, team game, where the 2 corners, opposing corners, are a team. Really a lot of fun. I played it a few times. I remember, the last time, it's been years. I think the last time I played it was with I think it was George, Holly, and Justin. And Holly and I were on a team, and Justin and George were on a team. And man, a great game. Really, really fun war game experience. So that is Conquest of Nerath. That is from, it was Wizards of the Coast Hasbro, and that is my number 1. Well, that is my list of games in my collection that I have not yet done a review for. Let me know, what do you think? Are there some of these games that you really want to see me review, to prioritize? Maybe I can try to get them up there. Let me know. What do you think? Do you like these games? Do you not like these games? I'm always interested to know what your opinions are about my list. So please, please, please leave a comment. Leave a comment here on YouTube, Board Game Geek, Facebook. I really love to hear back from you. Twitter. Subscribe to this channel, please, on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, etc., etc. Check out my other channel, Cody Carlson, PhD. We talk about military history and all that stuff. And if you like the channel, you like the content we bring, I would ask you to humbly click on the super thanks button and leave a tip. Speaking of Leviathans, ladies and gentlemen, I recently read a great book about how they held all those steel plates together on battleships. It was riveting. Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. God knows that I love to fight, but I don't ever win. It's a fine line to damnation, but God let me in.
Hi.
I'm so glad you could make it. I didn't think you were...
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry I'm late. I had this friend come over who actually convinced me he was king of America.
It doesn't matter. I'm just glad I'm here with you finally.
No, me too. I have a little bit of a confession.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've had a crush on you for like months.
Really?
It's so weird because I've had a crush on you like forever. I can't believe this. A beautiful woman has a crush on me.
Really? Yeah, no, I really do. We just seemed like we had so much in common.
Oh,
like,
I know.
What's your favorite board game?
Oh, I don't really like board games.